Hi guys, welcome to Copyright Law Part 2, a continuation of Copyright Law in Kenya Part 1. My name is Rogers Girinji, and in this video, we are going to be discussing about copyright infringement and how you can show that your work has been copied. Now, for students of intellectual property law, please remember that in terms of copyright, what is legal in other countries might not be legal in Kenya. Now, with that in mind, at this point in time, you might be wondering again, how much needs to be copied for infringement to be considered? This question is addressed by Section 26 of the Copyright Act, and the section provides that a work may be copied in whole or a substantial part recognizably derived. Now, just to put Section 26 into perspective, I will explain it using an example that you can see on your screens. Now, assuming John writes a comedy book to 80%, and then he gets so busy, but he has the intention of finishing his book, and he decides to copy the remaining 20% from another author. So in this circumstance, two questions arise. Will John have copyright on his book, and can he be able to sell the complete book? Now, once we answer these two questions, then we'll have understood what copyright infringement means. Now, for the first question, the answer would be John will not have copyright on his complete book, but rather he will have copyright in the 80% part of the comedy book he wrote. Now, this brings out one key concept that you need to always remember. And this concept is that the fact that you're infringing someone else's work does not mean that you do not have copyright in part of your original work of authorship. So in this case, the fact that John infringed 20% of another author's work doesn't mean that John does not have copyright in the 80% he had written by himself. Now, furthermore to this, when it comes to whether John can be able to sell the book, the answer here is obvious. John cannot be able to sell the book because 20% of the work in that book does not belong to him. So in case John wants to sell this book, then he has to choose to either take away the 20% so that he's left with the 80% that fully belongs to him, and that way he can be able to sell his book in the market. Now, with that in mind, I want us to move on to the next topic, which is how to show copying. Now, copying can be shown in two ways. Number one, you need to show that the person who copied your work had access to the original. An example here would be if A made a music video, very interesting, and then he shared it with B via an email, and then 3 months later, B comes up with a music video similar to A's video, and then A can be able to show that there was access to the original by B before B came up with his video. The other way is that if you cannot prove that the person had access to the original, you must show that there is such overwhelming similarity that the person had to have had access to the original. Now, this second point is best shown using the case of Matthew Falk versus Beyonce. Please go to YouTube and type in Matthew Falk versus Beyonce. You will see a summary of what I'm talking about in terms of copying. So in this case, remember that Beyonce was sent for an email containing the Paranoia work, and it is alleged that she then created the Lemonade video out of that work. Now, in terms of similarity between the Paranoia work and the Lemonade video, you will see in the preceding visuals that I'm going to show you to elaborate to you what actually copying entails, that the Lemonade video has this similar visual content, audio content, the sound effect, the mood, the setting, even the pace and the feel of the Paranoia video can be seen in the Lemonade video. Now, with that in mind, we proceed. Of course, in this slide I talk about access, and I've already stated that Beyonce had access before coming up with a Lemonade video. Now, these are visuals that again we need to analyze. As you can see, Matthew was saying Beyonce copied his video to come up with a Lemonade video, and you can see similarity one in terms of the graffiti and persons with head down, This is obvious. This is Beyonce's video, and she's here with her head down, and so is an individual in Matthew's video with her head down. The graffiti on the walls in Matthew's video can also be seen in the Lemonade video here, and also you can see that the Lemonade trailer features images of the central character in a state of distress. So you can see Beyonce here. There's also an individual here. You can see the graffiti here, and it also appears in this video. See, we are trying to show that Beyonce had copied the Paranoia work. Now, there's another illustration again. You can see there's a person. Beyonce is here. The eyes are obscured, and also the individual in Paranoia video has obscured eyes. Now, this is another similarity in terms of red eyes with eyes obscured. You can go through the slide to actually see what I mean, and remember to watch the video on YouTube. Now, furthermore, also in terms of the parking garage, you can see in terms of the parking garage, we have both similar color contrast between yellow and blue hues. Remember that Beyonce had access to the Paranoia work prior to coming up with a Lemonade video. And again, you can see the similarity in terms of the structure of the garage and what appears in Beyonce's video. So remember, we discussed that our work can be copied in whole, a substantial part recognizably derived. You can see already the copying. Now, furthermore to that, again, there is also another similarity in Beyonce's video in terms of the stairwell, which also again appears in the Paranoia video. So this is a classic case that you can use to understand copying. Furthermore, again, there is a similarity number 5 in terms of the black and white eyes. In Beyonce's video, you can see her head has been cut off at this point, which also appears in the Paranoia video, where the character's head is also cut off at this point. Furthermore to that, both, of course, the characters, you can see Beyonce looking straight into the camera, and also this person in the Paranoia video looks up straight into the camera, and these two photos are in black and white. And again, remember, in terms of the tops and bottoms of the subject's heads, they're both cut off in frames, which is an unusual framing choice in professionally produced film. You cannot actually have such a coincidence. Now, for that, of course, even in terms of the title cards, there is similarity. You can see that the background is black. We have the white bold lines appearing in both videos. We have the fonts of the title appearing in the middle, and also they are the same fonts. Remember, again, we are trying to show how you can compare two videos to see how someone has actually copied your work. Now, I mean, this is so again obvious. Beyonce is somewhere in the middle of bushes. You can see in both shots the grasses incorporate dead and living grasses mixed together. I mean, this is Beyonce's video, and this is the Paranoia video. You can see that this creates tons of green and creates tan colors in the shots, and both images have similar overall color contrast against the focus object. Here the focus object is, of course, this soil. You can see earth in the middle surrounded by grass, again, which is both green and color and tan in color. Furthermore, the next similarity you can see is in terms of the fact that both images include strong contrast between light and dark, with shadow cast on the feet. So this is a case that you can use if you want to understand copyright infringement, and if you want to understand how you can have a proper analysis of copying when it comes to music videos. To conclude this, again, the key part here again is that in terms of these two videos, the Paranoia and the Lemonade video, bearing in mind that Beyonce had access to the Paranoia video prior to coming up with her own, the audio sequences in the Lemonade trailer and in the Paranoia work are also substantially similar, and both works follow a similar pattern in which harsh noises are separated by calmer sounds in a substantially similar timetable. Please watch Matthew versus Beyonce on YouTube to see exactly what I'm talking about. This again brings us to the end of copyright Law Part 2, and remember to subscribe to Nairobi Legal. Thank you.